right, good peoples. Let's jump into this. Continuing with Coney. So, Coin and Coney, as you would expect, we had a big move up in the underlying. Not quite what MSTR did, but I was explaining to you that at 15% versus 11 in Coin versus 10 in Bitto, a lot of it, the 15 was predicated on the split as well. So there's that momentum of the 10-to-1 split, which I did a video on. Okay, so 11.39, we went from 218.02 to 242.85. As one of my commenters said, we were overdue for a bounce. The question had been when we went down to 53,000, that 50 and 52 were major support like a magnet. So when we went back to 57, 59, I said we really need to get over 60, 61, even 62, and we need to maintain that. Well, guys, we're at 64, 865 as I make this video on Monday evening. So I mean, again, it has to sustain this, though. This can't be a one day. We need a confirmation. But based on everything that's going on, it does appear that we bottomed in Bitcoin. I say appears. Okay. So what did Coney do? Well, Coney went up 5.2. Now, remember in Misty, we had a 15% gain and we were capped at 5%. So here we had 11% gain and we were capped. So this actually did a little better. And listen, guys, I'll be honest with you. Coin and Coney really needed it. Coney needed it, right, for getting our monies back on track. So people did buy into the fund. We had 375,000 shares added, which is only around 1%. But I mean, Coney's been the bargain, 18, 19. If you look at the chart, twice it's gone down to the 17, 18 range and gone back close to 30. One time it was 30. So I'm not saying that that just is every time. Look, if something was that predictable, everybody in the world would sell at 29 and buy it at 18 or 19. So it works till it doesn't work, guys. But clearly that's been a pattern so far. Okay, so let's jump into the other details like I did with Misty. Let's go take a look at the weekly. Well, they had written this. Let's go back and look at those for just a second. When they were written, they were 5.49% out of the money. Okay. Well, where are they right now? Well, we've run by them 6%, 6.3 and 5.2. Now, anything could happen. This could settle back down and I doubt that we would go as low as 227. We could see 230, but I have a feeling this has got legs and it's going to confirm and maybe slowly move up from here. But we'll just have to see. So what did that do for us, right? Well, as you can imagine, when you're capped like that, you got to spend a lot of money. Look at this volatility. I should have put this on Misty. We were up from 69 to 7. We were up 5.29% on the 30-day IV simply by that big explosive move. And so Misty's would have been bigger, but I was so wanting to get everything out that I didn't take the time to tell you how much, right? So here we are at 2003. So we're back in that if you bought in the fund, you're going to get all your money back mode. And we're at 242 because look where our synthetic, although there were no trades put on, we were at 218, guys. We were down. Now, the good news with, unlike Misty, although it's fabulous now, Misty expired this Friday, right? So they're now looking good. They're up at 1611 on a 1550. We're at 242 on a 230. But we got all this time. So in theory, if people buy into the fund, they're going to be writing these calls. They won't be making money when they're in the money. They'll have to spend more for the call than they get for the put. But guys, if they keep moving up, that's when your synthetic roars, right? So, and I also think when they write calls this week, since the IV's up, they're going to be able to maybe go out 7, 8, 9% if they write any for the rest of this week and still get some yield, because to not do that right now, write a 3% yield for the rest of the week, that's dangerous given what's happening. Now, let's see. Again, this could settle back around 230, or in a single day go down to 230. So anyway, I think we look really, really good. I'm super happy on this. I'm long so much between Coney,Ybit, and Misty. Misty being by far my biggest holding. And I have some Bitto as well, and I have three different accounts that I keep my funds in. Some are tax advantage and some aren't. So we can talk about that as a whole different subject. So there's your weekly situation. And the guy that really tells me I've structured my holdings, and when I have something like this that requires a little bit more detail, I like to take my time and explain it to you, because just telling you in a spreadsheet isn't going to get the job done. So bear with me if you just, actually, if you're going to move forward, the payout amount didn't change. So that's why this is so important for you to understand, right? We closed at 2003 and fair value is 2005. So we're on sale for 2 cents. But look at this synthetic. Look at this guy go. We were 32 million under on paper. And again, it's paper value, but if you execute on it, it's real. These were the structures that we've been in, right? The last 4 days on the 230, we were, 28, 29 million on this. I'd have to scroll over 27.7. Okay. Then we dropped to 42 million. And then on Friday, we were 32 million. We are now 43 million in the positive, guys. And that's the power of the synthetic. What is a synthetic? It's buy a call, which is bullish on coin, sell a put, which is bullish on coin. So when you move up big, the synthetic moves up big. The problem is this, you're throwing a boat anchor out, right? Trying to collect money. It's almost like you're speeding along the ocean and you go, I'm done fishing, but I'm just going to throw some lines out there with a hook and hope I grab something, right? It can be positive. But boy, if you catch on to something that really hurts the boat or causes a problem, that's really the nature of the weekly naked call. It's referred to as a covered call strategy. But again, it's a naked call. That's why it hurts you so much. But at the same time, when it's flat, up slightly or down slightly, we're collecting that income. Oh boy, we're collecting that income. Otherwise, you know what you'd have in these funds if they were all just synthetic long on the stock? You might not have much income. But on days like today, you would have an 11% gain on the underlying. And so that's all it would be, is an underlying. And they really would have to pay return of capital totally out of that, right? Because they'd have to be giving you synthetic money that they hadn't even maybe sold, or they'd have to sell it. So it would be a really bumpy ride. So again, on an income fund, it's great. But if you're active investor as opposed to just passive collecting your income, then you can put on some of your own plays, right? And there's ways. There's a Conal ETF, CONL. It's 2 times Coney. I don't have to pull that up to tell you that it should have gained 22% today because Coney or coin was up, right? So that's a Conal, Conl. And again, there's times to deploy capital there, and there's times not. I'm not a believer that just because I'm bullish on Coinbase, that I go out and buy a Conal and hold it, because there is some time decay built in to get that 2x leverage. So anyway, enough on that, guys. Let me jump in here. So I always try and calculate these. Here's 30,000. We had paid 8.37, right? Call it 8.4 million. Look at what we'd have to buy it back right now today for. Almost 47 million. Okay. That's how damaging the covered call can be. Okay. But how much of that is 4 more days of trading? How much of that is time decay that'll disappear if we stay right at 242? Right? That's what we're at. We're at 242. Well, if you look at that, that's only 12, right, of the 1565. Actually, it's close to 13 because it's 242.85. So I just said 13 is in the money value. So technically 265, it might be 275, 278. Who cares at the moment, right? It's close enough. So we stand, if all we did was move to Friday at 242, we're going to gain almost 8 million back. So we'd have to spend like 39 million. Okay. Well, look at what we did here. We went from a negative 32 to a plus 43.8. I rounded, right? So it's pretty positive in that scenario. But that's how these things are calculated. The other one that kind of hurt us is this little, we put another 800 contracts at 227.5. Look at that. That was something we collected 55,000 and we'd have to buy 1408. I didn't do the math on that one, how much over, but you can tell that it's what, $15 over. And so another 2.6, well, you're not going to save that much. You might save 100,000. I mean, I could do the math, but it's not as big a number as this. So, but in some fair, and these guys won't be as impacted. The synthetic won't lose that much, right? Because it's way out there on 816. When I showed you Misty and we're going to gain back some of that time premium, we're going to lose a little bit of that time premium on our call and being positive on our synthetic at Misty in the 1550. But since this is all the way out there to 816, there's very subtle time decay changes. So you're not going to, this isn't going to go away. If we stay at 242, this might only be a 41 million gain or something like that over the next 4 days. But this one is going to be beneficial to us. All right, guys. So that's what I got on you there. Look at this again. I love these, you know. I just love these graphs because they tell you everything about the positivity of the synthetic. Okay, let's jump over. And I really don't have much in payouts, unfortunately. I can tell you what's going to happen, but this is going to go way down when we roll or sell that. But I think they should just leave it alone, right? The money's not going to disappear as long as we stay up. If we were to drop below 230 and end up at 229, the fund managers just sat still. And you know what? We wouldn't lose any of that money if we went back to 229, right? 230 is where it's written. So there's some possibility that we go up a little more and pull back. Who knows, right? Um, on coin. But that's the scenario we got, but it's looking like we can make some money finally in coin and Coney. And guess what? You know these guys want to help you make the money, right? They want you to be able to get that 100% return and tout it. So they're going to do everything within reason to make that happen. So where did I even have that? Maybe I had it in the July. Yeah, I had it right here. Sorry, I was thinking I had it. So I mentioned in my NAV reduction video that they paid 1852 and they need $1.48. Well, some people could have bought it at 1976. I always kind of use 20, but it traded that low on inception day, right? And so either way you look at that, they need $1.24, or worst case, they need $1.48. I realize some of you have higher, you know, average price. Somebody could have a 29 average price, right? But honestly, this is a revenue machine. And as long as BTC has the ability to move up, I'm kind of with the guys to some degree in the ROI camp. I'm not always a believer in just ROI without looking at total return unless you're super bullish on the underlying. And I've become very, very bullish on Tesla. And I'm going to start reporting on Tesla just because. But honestly, Tesla will be a small percentage of how I play Tesla because I see Tesla having these big runs and pullbacks, and I want to get more than just the income. And I don't really think that Tesla or any of these funds, when they get capped like this, can be that great of. I mean, they can be good income. So if you need income, play them as income. But if you're really, really bullish on the underlying, use some other techniques. Okay, guys, that's what I got for you. Happy evening ahead. I hope we continue to do well. It was a fantastic day. I'm going to put a Y bit out also. Okay, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Have a great evening. Bye for now.